Truth be told, with each passing moment, my recollection of Deadpool and Wolverine dwindles, because in between my singular viewing of this movie and writing the transcript for this review, your boy was at Bloodstock, meaning that I was on a strict diet of alcohol, liquid gold poppers, weed, death metal, malnourishment, and sleep deprivation. Sure, I could attend another screening, but at time of penmanship, the idea of being in that type of public disgusts me more than non-alcoholic beer and the fact that I don't entirely hate Nickelback. So the deceased Logan we're all familiar with just so happens to be Wade Wilson's timeline's anchor being, meaning that upon passing, the fabrication of his planet's everything begins to slowly deteriorate. Because reasons, the Time Variance Authority, by ways of Mr. Paradox, informs Wilson that they've decided to speed up the aforementioned deterioration because narrative, so Wade decides to redon the Deadpool attire and travel into the multiverse to find a Wolverine qualified to help him save his world. A plot littered with nonsensical, no doubt, but fuck me, surely at this point it can't be denied that Marvel has abused the multiverse concept to the point where even Veronica Avlov's ring piece could sympathise. So the hype seed for this feature was vicariously planted back in 2009, a la Ryan Reynolds' Wade Wilson appearing in Wolverine's origin movie, and said seed didn't really take root until the maximum effort bridge scene in the first Deadpool installment 7 years later. Budding commenced during the second live-action offering, released in 2018, and since then flowering has taken place on various marketing and social media platforms pretty much until Deadpool and Wolverine hit the screens. Question is, why am I doing a horticulture bit to describe a portion of the development process when there's a blatant boner metaphor that's more desperate to be used than Steven Seagal's dietitian? Suppose I'd better start talking about the movie itself. The action is somewhat violent. I can absolutely see why the BBFC gave it a 15 rating, however the festivities come with a comedic undertone that dilutes the brutality. It's really well choreographed and creative, especially when it comes to how the combat scenes implement props. Like, god damn, it opens up with a brawl that sets the vibe for the rest of its slightly overlong 128-minute duration perfectly. With that said though, as fun as it was to see our title characters lay waste to seemingly endless waves of who the fuck ever, we're all here to witness them throw down, and I'm delighted to inform you that in this department it doesn't disappoint. I won't go into detail, but the set pieces are so innovative regardless if they're fighting in an open space or a setting more intimate than an orgy hosted in a sleeping bag. Naturally, there are cameos. Some you'd expect, others you wouldn't, and there were also absentees that I thought would have been present, but overall I was satisfied with the characters included and fucking ecstatic by one in particular, but I won't spoil it for you here. Regardless of who shows up though, this is very much the Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman show. Their chemistry is fucking brilliant, and that should not come as a shock since the tone they set back in X-Men Origins Wolverine has been showcased in various YouTube segments since before pre-production for this movie began. When scuffling, they both look the part, especially Jackman, who despite approaching his 60s is in the type of shape where steroids would slow him down. Outside of fisticuffs, they still bounce off each other well. Their contrast in personalities is very complimentary, and the dialogue deliverance, placement of humour, plus the jokes themselves, as well as efficient use of the score, all make for an audio experience almost more enjoyable than the sound of cracking open that first of many cold ones before taking a nice carefree drive to the pub. In my opinion, Deadpool and Wolverine is the best contribution to the series so far, and that for me is vastly down to it being meta as fuck via self-satire and not giving the fourth wall a chance to establish itself. It also feels like a love letter to the fan base written with a pen manufactured out of apology. What I mean by that is none of our heroes go off-piste. They're wearing the costumes and saying the catchphrases psychotically akin to the source material, not to mention the speech Deadpool delivers about the questionable nature of Marvel's Phase 4 and 5. It was necessary. A Deadpool 4 is not. I believe strongly that this franchise has peaked here, a statement that's weirdly not backed by the majority of critics when compared to the previous two, but they're wrong, so fuck 'em. However, in terms of box office success, Deadpool and Wolverine throat fucks its predecessors in the ass. My biology teacher was unhinged. This'll be the last review for a minute or two, guys. I'm not going to abandon you completely, it's just that I miss streaming. Also, the deadline to releasing the summer edition of the Barely Banter podcast is rapidly approaching, and I'm less prepared than my fit Polish neighbour is for my resilience towards capsicum oleo resin.